God save the Queen! Because it doesn't look like anyone else in the WWE wants to. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blogger who always tells it like it is. No prompter this time, I got lazy. And below you are the rankings as they are post-draft and the results of the last 4 televised events. 2 SmackDowns, 1 Raw, and NXT Halloween Havoc, which I do not count as a pay-per-view. Oh, and Crown Jewel as well, also down there. Charlotte Flair has been an institution in the WWE for many, many years now, ever since the Divas Revolution, way back when. That turned into an evolution and got them their own pay-per-view a few years ago, although they have yet to repeat that. Anyway, Charlotte Flair has been there from pretty much the beginning, and even from NXT. She was proving like father, like daughter. She was proving that second-generation daughters, such as her and Natalya Neidhart and Tamina Snuka, could very well meet the standards and even surpass the standards of their fathers. But somewhere along the line, I think Charlotte Flair started becoming more Flair and less Charlotte, as if being the daughter of the Nature Boy has its advantages, and one of those advantages is the WWE must do what she says, not the other way around. This was obvious on the SmackDown after Crown Jewel. As expected, the SmackDown Women's Championship did not change hands from Becky Lynch, and as such, on the Friday afterwards, Charlotte, who was the Raw Women's Champion but drafted to SmackDown, and Lynch, who was the SmackDown Champion drafted to Raw, were asked to swap titles, just like Street Profits and the New Day did last year with the tag team titles. The only difference was that the swap happened in front of the crowd instead of in the back room like last year. Of course, last year there was no crowd to have it in front of, but that's besides the point. But here's the problem. Charlotte didn't really want to just hand over the title because she didn't want her character, Charlotte Flair, to be considered weak. And she thought that just handing over a title would be weak. So, totally unscripted, when it came time for them to swap the belts in the ring, Charlotte held out the belt for Becky Lynch, but then pulled it away and even dropped it on the mat, saying, essentially saying, hey, if you want this title, you get it yourself. But Sonya was not going to do it that way. Sonya demanded that Charlotte pick up the belt and at the very least hand it to Sonya so that she could hand it to Lynch. And that's what she did. Becky replied by tossing the SmackDown Women's Championship right into Charlotte's arms, which was also not in the script. After the exchange and after SmackDown went off the air, there was some sort of scuffle, some sort of argument happening in the back, and Charlotte was escorted from the arena. Simply because Charlotte thought she was better than what they wanted her to do. That if she just handed the title over, her character would be considered weak, and she did not want to be considered weak. Hey, guess what, Charlotte? Nobody, no human being wants to be considered weak. But, come on. This was just something that had to be done. We couldn't have a Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown and vice versa. And besides that, you're adding to your title run. You're adding to the amount of titles you have. You're making your climb to number 16. To match your father and maybe even surpass it one day. And besides, too, I don't think this is the right time to go all Karen on us, Charlotte. Because your father is not being seen in the best of lights these days. He was up for harassment again. Who knows how many times this has happened to him over the years. But who knows if this time will stick or not. Or how much money Flair has to pay. I mean, it was already shown that the $1 Million Man had to pay millions, Ted DiBiase had to pay millions of dollars, I guess in back taxes or something like that. So who's to say that Rick won't go bankrupt because of this? You should be there for your father, setting an example. Setting an example for people who are the fans of yourself and your father. There is nothing wrong with handing over a championship belt and getting another one in return. It's not a sign of weakness. The fact that you just dropped the belt made it a sign of bitchiness to me. Like I said, a sign of Karen-ness. And you quite literally wanted to talk to the manager. You wanted to talk to Vince McMahon about the way your character is being portrayed. But that's not how it works. Vince McMahon, addled as his mind may be, is the end-all, be-all authority in the WWE. The Lord High Chamberlain, the Grand Inquisitor. And if he says that you are to swap titles properly, you swap titles properly and don't go off script. If Vince says jump, you say off what? Either that, or you try to see if AEW wants you. Chances are they do, but that's besides the point. You think that you're irreplaceable, Charlotte? You think that because you're weak and you pretty much threaten to go off script, that someone can't find someone to take your place after you're gone? You are sorely mistaken. What do you think NXT turned into NXT 2.0 and has essentially turned back into becoming a developmental territory for the WWE? There are loads of women lining up to take your place. And if you don't calm your Karen-ness, Miss Queen, you're gonna find out just how easy you can be replaced. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blogger who always tells it like it is. Stay safe, and I'll see you.